All right, what's up guys? So I was making a video earlier, not this one, but a different one, and I was realizing that I use the terms double progression or dynamic double progression a whole lot, and I haven't made a video on this yet, and I don't want to sound like a crazy person and have you guys think that, hey Andrew, what are you talking about? Getting all these comments about what the fuck's a double progression, which might be good for inflating my analytics, but nonetheless, we're just going to be going over the concepts of a double progression and a dynamic double progression. I've talked about it briefly before in a past video going over how I like to train accessory work to have it just not be boring. And same concepts apply here. I really like using these methods, which I'll explain in a second, but I really like using these methods when it comes to training my accessory work or just my secondary or tertiary movements. That being said though, that's my personal preference. You can use this for anything. If anything, I'll use it in some cases for clients on their main comp specific work. If we're trying to be a little bit more controlled with the weight loading and just progress through reps, because some clients just love to overshoot. It's okay, I used to be one of them. Anyways, preamble aside, because I really like talking and I feel like I mentioned that in every video. It's probably gonna become a meme at some point. Double progression, all that really alludes to is that you're using the same load throughout the block or throughout the weeks, but you're progressing through repetition. As we can see, weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're keeping the load at 70%. That is roughly a 10 rep max. We're gonna be doing a 3x5 for our very first week, and then just bump the reps up one more every single week. Now, as far as, like when do we stop progressing the reps? Because you're gonna hit a wall at some point. I would say, generally speaking, every 6 to 10 weeks, I'm either going to increase the weight, or I'm going to do something where I retest the rep max, see if I can beat the past performance, and if I do, then I'll progress in weight. Or let's say we don't really need to retest for a new rep max, maybe it's a little too fatiguing on your system, that's totally okay. There's always a time and place for things. Instead, same sort of timeline, I'll progress the load every 6 to 10 weeks. So to run it through with you guys one more time, just to make sure we're all in understanding here, we're going to establish a weight by week 1. Usually what I'll do is just take, that percentage off of some 1 rep max. So if you don't know your 1 rep max, then what you can do instead of running this on week 1, we'll just push this back all by a week. And then instead, your first week of trying this out, you'll do a build up or ascending sets, whatever you're comfortable with, doesn't really matter. Just hit a set of 8 up until RP 8 for the exercise that you're using this double progression on, because theoretically that would be a 10 rep max. Now, you might not be the most accurate with your RP rating, and in a sense, it's kind of okay, because so long as you're doing this model, you're going to be progressing the reps anyways. And if you're gonna go up in weight or reps, then you're gonna be rinsing and repeating that process of pushing the reps to your maximum, beating your past performance. And if you do beat your past performance, whether it be by 1 or 2 reps or by a fucking mile, cool, just go up and wait the next week, reset the reps. That's what I like to call just rinsing and repeating. This is why I like the double progression. It's a very foolproof way to, I don't want to say force progress, but it's a foolproof way to create an environment where you can reliably progress. All right guys, so very last tidbit when it comes to programming, last thing that's up, a dynamic double progression. Sounds super fancy, sounds super complicated. It's not. So, it's a very similar concept. We're only going to be progressing through repetition. The only difference, as you might be able to see, because y'all are smart, we're not just going up 1 rep all throughout. We're just going up 1 rep on maybe 1 set or a couple reps on 2 sets. As you can see with weeks 2 and 3, we're doing set of 6, set of 5, set of 5, week 3, set of 7, set of 6, set of 5. So this is just a good way to space out the progression, and you might want to do this if you don't want to progress too early, because that's a thing as well. You're pretty much going to be running a very similar rinse and repeat method. So you're going to max out the sort of rep scheme that's available to you, and then once you accomplish that, once you beat the past performance and stuff like that, because again, 70% theoretically, that's about a 10 rep max. If you don't have a solid percentage, maybe you're running this on RDLs. Who does a 1 rep max on RDLs? You might. If so, good for you. But if you don't know what that 70% kind of is, then just run something like this for your first week and then employ this scheme, and then you're good. So something that I want to mention is that you don't need to progress your accessory work, your main work. It doesn't always have to be through weight alone. Sometimes it might be better to progress through reps, gain the adaptations that are worthwhile gaining there by doing more repetition, whether it be work capacity, getting you accustomed to those challenging sets, really focusing on squeezing it out, on accessories or variations or movements or whatever that are safer to do so. A lot of the times I run double progressions on my secondary or tertiary movements. So yeah, an RDL, a heel elevated high bar squats, or like a kind of like a plat style squat, or even like machine work. That's something I'll do because it'll teach you how to push yourself in an environment or in an exercise where, yeah, you're probably not going to get banged up. I maybe won't do this on like tougher sets of my main squats or main deadlifts if I happen to employ a double progression for exercises like that. Not that there's anything inherently dangerous with like a deadlift or a squat, but if I'm just trying to have a little more control over how hard a client is training, making sure they have a couple more reps in reserve, then yeah, I'll employ the same concepts. I'll run whatever percentage, have them go very submaximal on the reps, maybe like, we'll use the example of 70%, instead of going to 3 sets of 5 at 70% for maybe like a deadlift. Maybe I haven't run pause deadlifts anyway, so your 70% on your true deadlift is not going to be the same as your 70% on your pause deadlifts. But if we ran with that, whatever, then I'll probably just do like 3 sets of 2 to begin with, have them focus more on form, have them focus more on quality, and then just progress little by little here and there, kind of tracking their progress and stuff like that. And I might not even push them through reps. I might actually cut it short on the reps. I might just stop at 3 sets of 4, 3 sets of 5, and then up the weight, the next block or something, and just kind of rinse and repeat until they've shown me that, okay, cool, like quality is improving, your form's looking better. This is obviously very submaximal. Let's move away from doing a double progression in this way and have you do something more traditional, like building up to a top set and then having back downs after. But that's a scenario where we're trying to be very controlled. That's a scenario where we are intentionally trying to reserve a lot of reps in the tank. In the opposite scenario, maybe we're doing something like lateral raises, bicep curls, machine rows, exercises where you can do a lot more without causing so much systemic fatigue. We might want to do that. We might want to push to get those reps because you can only progress your bicep curls so often to the point where it's like, all right, like, is this even worth it? Like, your form is just looking like crap. Even the same thing with like machine rows. Rows are a movement where you see the most progress, in my experience, when you employ the most quality repetition, getting a full squeeze, a full stretch, being very in control of the weight while still pushing yourself. If we're just loading it up and just using momentum, well, what's the point? You can hardly, that's not a stimulus that's so easily replicated or easy to track. Point being, you don't always need to progress through weights alone. Sometimes it's better to progress through repetition so that we can focus on quality, so that we can focus on work capacity, so that we can focus on getting to those higher levels of exertion without absolutely thrashing your body. So you're just getting all the benefits and none of the drawbacks. While every good program employs the concept of progressive overload, we need to start thinking in ways outside of just progressively overloading through weight alone. And this is a fantastic tool in doing so. And that's going to be it for today, guys. If you don't know me, then hello. My name is Andrew Kyle Tang. I am an online fitness trainer. I get my clients super strong and super jacked, teaching them quality movement for longevity in their sport and their endeavors in the gym for a better quality of life. Thank you for watching today's video, guys. Use these models of training if useful. If you did find this video useful, then shoot me a like, shoot me a subscription, and leave me a comment if you felt like you learned something today. But if you didn't learn anything today, still do all those things. All right. Love you guys. Peace.